So we're currently in a real estate recession right now. So I'm being very, very strategic about the deals that I do decide to buy. So come with me on this day in the life and see what fits my criteria in a housing crash. We're headed to the first of two properties today. This one is an off-market lead. I'm looking at it as a flip. I think it's really, in this location, a flip is really the best strategy or best option for this one. Now, it is a massive house. I want to say it's like 4,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms. So it's definitely on the larger side pertaining to like properties and flips. But I also think I have it at a really good price. Preliminary right now, I think I can sell it between 550 to 600. And I have the seller at 350. Now, I have seen only photos so far, and it looks like it may be quite the project. So like I said, I want to really check it out in person and get a real physical scope of work and see what we're looking at or expecting in terms of renovation on that. And so yeah, that would kind of be the plan. And then I'll let you guys know after we walk it and check it out, where things stand after the walkthrough. But like I said, in this market right now, you have to be overly diligent, overly strategic, just because, yeah, man, I think we're at like a 30-year housing low. And so unless you're getting like the best of the best deals, I really just don't think it's worth the risk to take on, mediocre deals, honestly. So yeah, I'll catch you guys at the property.
That's just like clothes and stuff that was packing out in the kitchen and furniture. And supplies and stuff like that.
Massive ceiling, though. Small shower. Good backyard, but we need to put a fence up right there. Siding looks fairly good. Windows not in the worst condition. I think maybe new fixtures and stuff, but overall not too bad. But the exterior space. This is like a game room or something. Alrighty, so we just finished up the walkthrough, as you guys see. Overall, I don't think it was that bad. Now, it does look bad, don't get me wrong, but I think the house is salvageable overall, and so that's a positive. I'm expecting about 80K in renovations. I don't think, again, I didn't really get to test out too much because it looks like people were living there. So I didn't really want to intrude in anyone's spaces or anything like that. So of course I'll need to check with further plumbing, piping, electrical, things of that sort to see the full extent. So I'm pretty much accounting that will need to be fixed. Before I make that count point, I want to show you guys as well. The neighborhood looks pretty nice, to be honest. So as you guys see, there's like a community pool. The homes are fairly nice in this area. I think most of the homes were built in like 2003. So we're talking about early 2000s community neighborhood. It seems to be very quiet, safe, secluded. So I do think it passes the vibe check in that spectrum of things. Like I said, overall, whenever or at least for me, whenever I'm analyzing deals, location, it has to be a desirable place for people and that people want to stay, good schools, the whole nine. And so that's one of the things that I always look for whenever I'm analyzing a property. But back to this property, I just wanted to show you guys that, I definitely think flooring, you'll have flooring, paint, certain cosmetic things of things of that sort. Towel, wall towel, definitely fixtures, cabinets. I've seen all those were pretty much destroyed, so that'll all need to be replaced and fixed. I'm also accounting for, like I said, your electrical and plumbing fixtures will need to be replaced as well. So, and then you'll have to paint the entire thing. So I don't think, even with me saying all that, I don't think that kills the project. I just truthfully need to see what it comes back appraised at, because the appraisal will really determine, how far or how high I can go with my offer. Like I said, I was at 350. I think that's a little bit more ambitious than what I want to be at. or that I need to be at, not even want, honestly. So I'm gonna have an appraisal done here by Friday or Monday. Today's Wednesday, and then once I receive that appraisal report back, I'll really be able to, you know, give a true offer number to the seller. That way, you know, we can see where we stand and, you know, if we can negotiate a deal or not. But I do think this one is pretty good. Now, the next one that we're headed to, I actually just went yesterday. I had got this property under contract. It's in a, you know, A+ location. The problem is with this one is that the juice is not worth the squeeze. And you guys will see what I mean once we go visit it. But it's definitely one of those projects where, again, it just, every single aspect of the home needs repair or renovation, and then you have to do some things outside the box as well to even make that one work. So you'll see what I'm talking about once we get there. And so that's where we're headed right now. So I'll see you guys once we get to the next property. So as you guys see, I'm doing real deals in real time. And I just launched a one-of-one wholesaling real estate program that'll teach you how to wholesale in 30 days or less. Everything that you need to know from A to Z. Or if you're more interested in the real estate investing journey and you want to skip all the headaches and problems that come with it, then I have the perfect opportunity for you to partner with me directly on a deal, on a project where you get your own returns, but also learn the entire process from A to Z. Click the link above or in the description box to take the next step. See you soon. All right, so we're at the second of two properties today. Like I said, that we're gonna check out. Like I said, I submitted an offer on this one. It got accepted. Once I went to go view it yesterday, my realtor, we decided to terminate that offer. Like I said, I'll show you the reasons why. The location, A+, or literally neighboring a $2 million house, you know, so numbers is not a problem on this one in regards to if it could sell. The problem is the renovation budget and just how much, you know, juice is worth the squeeze on this project. So initially, even when you first come in, you'll see like this detached garage right here, which again is something that is kind of a deterrent when you're looking to sell, because all the comps that we saw did have an attached garage basically built in. So one of the complications with that is you have to either build out a garage over here, which is, you know, not going to be cheap by any means. And then also you have an option where you can pretty much knock this down and somehow, you know, conform the two together that way. And that's just like a logistical nightmare, I think, to make that work. So that's just before you even enter inside the house. You're looking at, you know, a $40,000-$50,000 project just out here before you even start with anything in the interior. So we'll go inside, like I said, and I'll show you guys some of the deterrents that really turned me away from the property. All right, so we're in the inside right now. The floor plan, I think, is actually pretty positive. That's one of the things that attracted me to the property, was that it was more of a spacious home. So you're looking at about 2,300 square feet. I think a 3-bed, 3-bath. Overall, that actually works for this one. So I don't think that was too big of an issue, truthfully, with this one. Now, as we start to get, like I said, further into the property, you'll see, and I don't think you guys can really tell the difference, but there's gonna be two elevation differences as we move from kind of like this living space area to now like the kitchen space. There's an elevation difference, which is kind of strange. Don't know the reason behind that. And then also when you come back down here, it's another different elevation. So there's something foundationally that's up with this property. And so we kind of pulled back some of the carpet yesterday to kind of see what was going on. And it looks like you have like some leveling in place, or some things that are kind of just like messed up with the property overall. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's one of those things that, you know, you're gonna have to figure out and repair in order to have everything kind of even surfaces. And then as you kind of transition into like this, maybe this little office space over here, again, boom, you're jumping up and you kind of just rise as you go throughout the room. So it's like, man, this is very, very janky, honestly. And even as you guys see, maybe there's something cool that you could do with the paneling and the walls and stuff like that. But overall, you're looking at pretty much demoing all of this, honestly. So you're talking about new drywall all throughout the house, new lighting fixtures, recessed lighting, like new flooring, like foundational work. It's like, man, that's kind of already a lot, right? And so as we go into here, then you also have this very, very strange like space room right here. And I don't know, I'm not even gonna go really in here. I'll show you guys like what it is, but it's just like placed in like the most oddest position. But it's kind of like, what do you do with that? You know, would you just tear off this portion of it and then this kind of lead into the backyard? You know, that's just another problem to really figure out. Of course, windows, you're gonna have to replace all the windows. Now I do like the like ceiling, the beams and stuff. I think that is like kind of a cool design that had I taken this on, I would have kept, because I think aesthetically it would have made sense. Now I'm going to show you guys too in the backyard, another deterrent of why we decided to terminate the contract and offer on this one. So as you see right here, you have some piping exposed right here. It looks like you are going to deal with some plumbing issues as well. That goes up to here. This is cracked as far as with the sidewalk. So you have some issues going on over here that we haven't even further expected. And then as you come over here, you will see that we have a pool. You know, we have this nice pool right here, grand. You'll see this nice, beautiful green right here, you know, and the green is also under the pool cover. So that's just another headache to fix, because you can't sell a $700,000 house and not fix the pool, right? You just have this nasty pool sitting here. Wouldn't really work. So what does that mean? As a flipper or, you know, renovator, the budget goes up that much more. You have decking right here that you would need to fix, you know, certain concrete all around here that you have to fix, spruce up the backyard, the siding, like what is this, you know, have to fix the siding. So I'm like, man, this is like, trust me, I'm one, and you even see like cracking and stuff right here, but I'm one, you know, who definitely loves the challenge of things, but I'm also smart enough to know, like, man, when is it at some point diminishing returns on, you know, the project? Because that's what this project is essentially. So you come in and you're like, you know, these rooms, not bad, but again, if you're trying to reach a certain quality of finish and stuff, you will need to be able to get this to a certain standard. And I just feel like ultimately with this one, it's just a very, very tough demand and ask. You're talking probably about $200,000 all in on the renovation budget to be able to get this one to standard. And you know, if you can only sell it for so much, then you're kind of defeating the purpose, truthfully, overall. And even if you look at this as a master bathroom, way too small of a shower. You need to, you know, knock down some walls, extend that out. Another thing on the to-do list, overall, you know, you replace these sliding doors, everything. Honestly, like, there's very, very little that's salvageable in this property. And so I'm just like, man, you know, ultimately I just came to the decision, like I said, with my realtor, that the juice was just not worth the squeeze overall in this project. And so I decided to terminate. So yeah, we're gonna go back to the crib and I'll kind of wrap up and get my finishing thoughts there. So as you guys seen, we had a very, very productive day. In regards to kind of walking, analyzing properties, you guys get to really see my perspective. Whenever I'm looking for a flip or just a new project in general, what I'm looking for, what makes a deal, what doesn't make a deal, all these things you have to take into consideration whenever you're investing or, you know, looking to spend your money in real estate. Because you're spending such a large sum of money, it is very important to be diligent. I think a lot of people just want to say that they're in real estate, and so they overlook a lot of like the small nuances that, you know, incorporate within a deal. And I just think that's not a good strategy, just to have a title of saying you're in real estate or doing business. At the end of the day, we're looking to be profitable. I try to take everything into consideration whenever I'm doing a deal. And ultimately, I think that's helped me out, you know, because if you're ultra conservative, ultra diligent, in your projects, you tend to do better off if the market sways or swifts or whatever the market does, and you're not really relying on, things always just going up or smooth sales, because that's just not realistic in today's age. So yeah, overall, I hope you guys learned a lot. Like I said, man, be safe out there. The real estate market, I've seen a lot of people get cooked, truthfully, because they bought bad, and now the market is not helping them out as much as they thought. At the end of the day, projections are just that. It's not finite until it's signed, sealed, delivered. And so, like I said, just make sure to always be very, very conservative whenever you're doing your due diligence or you're analyzing these properties. That way, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, more than likely you're going to come out on the positive end of that spectrum. And so, yeah, until next time, I'll keep you guys updated. Peace.